You know, when it comes to housing, sometimes it goes down in value. In a year and 2 years, the home could either be the same value or a little negative, especially when you consider commission fees, closing costs, etc. But very few times will people say that after owning a property 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Usually, you will say to yourself, I wish I would have bought that property 5 years ago. I wish I would have bought that property 10 years ago. When you look at things through a longer term, same thing with stock market. You can say, oh, 1 year, 2 year stock return, not that great. But if you stretch the index of the stock market back 5, 10, 15 years, you would have doubled, tripled, quadrupled your money. And it's the same thing with housing. Long-term investment means 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's hard because we're impatient and people like to prey on that emotion because it's easy to fall into fear. Even me, I can be anxious and impatient, okay? And it's easy for people to make a video, buyer's remorse for 1 year, 2 year. But very few people have buyer's remorse owning property for 10, 20 years. And that is a great message, okay? Especially if you've only owned home for 1 or 2 years. And I can tell you from my experience, not my theory, of owning a couple pieces of property. In the beginning, it's rough because you may have little to no equity, again, after you consider closing costs, etc. But after 5, 10, 15, 20 years, most people will say to themselves, I wish I would have bought 5 years ago. And so remember, when you buy a property, you're probably going to have to wait at least 5 years before you can say that. And that's a word of encouragement. Remember, when you buy below your means. And remember, after 5, 10, 15 years, if you take out equity, then you're cashing out. So you may be negative, but you have equity to cash out. So, because that was the problem in 2006. A lot of people were just taking out equity premature, and then there was no more equity to take out, and then the system had a systemic problem. But even that, you would, good morning, you would probably say to yourself, even now, as I stand here in 2023, if you bought a property at the height in 2008, you doubled your money. So that's what you have to remember, long-term versus short-term. Don't let yourself prey on your short-term emotions, because it's all just hype. And I can't tell you how many people predicted a crash and ended up getting their life crashed by themselves because they priced themselves out. They wish they would have bought 5 years ago, but they were waiting for a crash 5 years ago. And that's been happening since the beginning of time. Again, buy below your means. Again, don't pull out equity until you're ready, until it's wise. And those are my thoughts through my experience. If you appreciate the video, click the thumbs up. If you wish you would have bought a property 5 years ago, share the video. If you've owned a property for more than 10 years, you're rich. I'll see you next one.